What up, guys? I'm G the Chino,
I'm Mike the Cholo.
and it's been about 2 weeks because I've been slacking, but we're back, and we could not be back at a better week. This is
Yes.
Winter is Coming episode of AEW, and winter came and brought a blizzard with it, shaking up the wrestling industry, not just for AEW, but hopefully the indies in general. Um,
Winter came and Santa delivered, baby.
Yes. Which was one of the running jokes. They were like, because everybody was giving Tony Khan crap because he was like, oh, we're about to like unleash some like tricks, and they were like, that's it. You brought Pac, you bought him back, like that's the only thing. So they were like, today he's probably like waking up like, fuck all of y'all. This is what y'all wanted.
Yep.
So we're going to do BTE and then the Winter Coming episode, but we will give some backstory since we've skipped some episodes. So we'll catch everybody up if this is the only way you watch AEW for some reason. You just figure hearing us talk is the better version than watching it. Um, so on the BTE side, we have a BTE champion, which is Trent, because I can't remember if we did announce that he won or not. But Trent is the first ever BTE champion. He beat Matt Hardy and John Silver in Gator Golf to win, and he was just like, I don't know what I'm doing with this damn belt, but okay. Um, then he got challenged by John Silver in a bottle flipping contest, and John Silver beat him. I think it was 3 flips to 1 or 3 flips to 2. So that makes Johnny Hungry the second and should have been the original champion of the BTE belt. So of course, the BTE belt can be defended in many multiple challenges. So to find the number one contender, because John Silver was not going to just defend the belt to anybody, they decided last week's episode to have a one chip challenge between the Panda Dude, Luchasaurus, Trent, Ricky Starks, and I forget who the other dude was. Was it Fuego del Sol? No.
No. It's all we don't care about.
Yeah, some jobber, and everybody had somebody, and I love how what's not Trent, what's the other one? The other best friend.
Chet Beretta and blah,
And
blah, blah, blah. I forgot.
that
Don't get to me.
I can't remember his name.
Chuck
But anyway,
Taylor.
Chuck, there you
Taylor.
go. He was like, I'm on Panda side because Orange is with Trent and I have nobody. And then Rick Knox was with that other guy, whoever the AE Dark Reject was. I can't remember. But yeah, pretty much it comes down to everybody last, nobody chickens out. So apparently Ricky Starks didn't eat the whole chip. There was a piece of the chip left.
He did. There's replay. He did.
Yeah. So somebody didn't eat it. They never actually explained, at least that I can remember, of who didn't eat it. So they were like, the first person to grab the chip and eat it and go through it again gets the contendership. So Trent was like, well, I'll do it. And he picks it up and eats it. So he ends up being the number one contender now for Johnny Hungry's belt, which gets decided here on this week's episode of BTE. So running through the episode of BTE, you have Private Party hanging out with Santana and Ortiz about eating the one chip challenge. So then Santana's like, I can eat this chip, so he eats it and he's like, see, there's nothing wrong with this chip, it's perfectly fine. So then they kind of do the whole skit of him like walking around and like, it's easy, it's not hot at all. And then he gets into the RV and then he starts screaming and he's like, this shit is hot. So then he's like, I need water, and does a whole comedic skit on it, going into the restroom, which goes into the open credits. Then we jump into Brandon again, believing in all the kayfabe terms because he's a mark. So
he's looking for the hard camera.
Yes, he's looking for the hard cam, and I love how Frankie gets there and says like, "What are you looking for? You're looking for a camera that was erect? Is that what you were looking for? He's like, all the cameras are hard, you idiot." He's I bet your mom's named you. Your middle name is Mark. That's all you are. You're just a stupid Mark. And then Marco's stunt comes out and says, "Hey, Frankie, how are those anger management classes going?" So then he chases him off scene. And then Peter's like, why'd you ask him? So then from there it cuts to showing the Young Bucks making the save against the Hybrid 2. It's kind of just like a little recap of Dynamite. So it shows MJF. I mean, not MJF. SCU and the Inner Circle there, and cuts to them in the back, giving their interview, which I don't know what that has to do with BTE, but it's there. Then from there, they cut to Matt and Nick playing basketball. Till Matt Hardy shows up and tells them something about that he invented the basketball or something about a ball. Oh, that the ball was in his court because he invented the TLC match or something like that. Then he takes off with the ball, and they're like, "Can we get our ball back?" And is it this week or no? So the week before was actually pretty funny because they kept running into him to the point where he dressed up as Pentagon. And they're like, "Wait a minute, he went through all that paint, and putting on the mask just to do that one skit." And he's like, "I guess so." And then from there, we cut to John Silver crying because he lost his match on Dynamite, and Anna standing there with him as well. and he's like, "I lost my match. It sucks." And she's like, "I lost my title match." And then goes into a hilarious Anna, John, Anna argument back and forth. With
like he gets her every single time he does that. Every single time. If you rewatch it, she literally buries her face in her hands, die laughing because like she just cannot contain herself. And like I don't think I could either if I was him. Like he's like Anna.
Anna.
I love John Silver. God bless John Silver.
Yes. And then she finally doesn't beat up Stu for once.
No, she does.
Oh, she?
wait.
All right.
Oh, no,
Not this one.
She doesn't. You're right.
Because he freaks out. I think she's like, "Merry Christmas." And he's like, "Okay." So then they all get together and they hug and they cheer and they start chanting. And then Hangman's outside of the room.
So,
which I don't know.
Last week or the week before that, they go into a chant like fuck Hangman," and he comes in and he takes a drink out of the bar and he's like, "Yeah, fuck Hangman," and walks out. And then Evil Uno's like, wait, I got an idea. He's like, "Don't fuck this up. I got an idea," and he walks out. So I think they're trying to recruit Hangman again.
Yeah, and then on Dynamite last week, after he beats them, they offer him a spot in the Dark Order, and he leaves. And then we'll get back to that storyline in the Diamond Battle Royal.
Yes.
So then it cuts to Tay and Anna hanging out with first Jungle Express and the Panda Dude, and they leave Jungle Express for the Panda guy. Because of the whole everything is small bit with Marco there. And then from there, pretty much the rest of the 7 minutes of the episode is the championship match between Trent and John Silver. So the challenge this week is to throw mustard packets into a little container thing that's probably about 18 feet apart because the tables together are 12 and they're another 5-6 feet from the table. So supposedly they had been going at it for an hour and a half. They moved them closer, and then there was a couple of close calls where it went in and bounced, and then Nick was like, "I'll give you guys $500 if you can make it in the next 5 shots." And then nothing. So then he's like, "Fine, I'll bump it up to 1,000, and if you make it in the next 2 shots."
Left.
And John Silver makes it on the last shot to win. So then he gets PayPal'd $1,000, and he's still the champion for another week. And that was BTE. It was, if you didn't have the 6 minutes of him competing, I think it would have been perfect. But who takes him on next? We don't know. I kind of would like to see him and Ricky Starks in just a pose off. That would be perfect and hilarious. Or maybe another dance battle.
I think John Silver is going to be the next Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
That's what I think.
But I also hope not at the same time because I got a complaint about that, which we'll get into here in the Winter is Coming episode of AEW. So yes, it's a play on Game of Thrones that ended like 3 years ago. So might as well use it if nobody else is using it. This is one of the mini pay-per-view episodes, just like Fight for the Fallen and uh, Fighter Fest and Bash at the Beach. So apparently the was it the Diamond? What the hell is it called?
It's the ring. I guess they're doing another ring.
Yeah, the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. So no, apparently, I guess you only get to keep the ring for a year. So MJF has to give it up and now re-win it. Spoiler. Again. So because they say it in the show that the ring is you get to win the ring and keep it for a year. So that's how it goes here. So notables in the match, you have Hangman Page, Orange Cassidy, SCU's in there, or Scorpio Sky's in there, Matt Hardy, John Reynolds, Jungle Boy, and Miro, and Sean Spears is actually kind of important, I guess, in there. And then you have for Inner Circle, you have Sammy, MJF, and Wardlow in the match. Pretty much Miro does most of the work. He's throwing out people like left and right through the match here. Inner Circle does a funny job of like, I don't know, like 3 minutes into the match, they stop fighting and they just curl up in a in the turnbuckle and they just hang out there like the whole match, and then they just start moving when people get close to their side of the ring. But yeah, Miro goes crazy, starts throwing people left and right out of the ring. What's his name? Kip Sabian gets eliminated by Orange Cassidy. So while that's happening, Kip throws Orange under the ring. And then Miro thinks that they're both eliminated, so he goes under the ring and beats up Orange Cassidy to leave him there beat up on the side of the ring. Then he goes back in the ring, and Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn were trying to tag team him. But then Miro ends up getting both of them eliminated. So then it leads to Miro and Warlord, a big old slab of meat against another big old slab of meat, just throwing bodies around there. I think that was the best part of the match for me, just watching them kill each other. That was the best part. They'd have Sammy and MJF go and try to like hold down Miro or try to gang up on him, and then he would just like throw them both off of him to show like the strength. So I really enjoyed that. And then it took all three of them to get Miro out of there. So at that point, you were left with Jungle Boy and the Inner Circle and Orange Cassidy chilling outside of the ring. So then Jungle Boy and Sammy fight on the turnbuckle. So then MJF pushes both of them off the turnbuckle. So that just leaves Warlord, MJF, and Orange Cassidy. And then Orange Cassidy connects with the Orange Punch and eliminates Warlord. So it leaves MJF and Orange Cassidy as the final two. So next week on Dynamite, they will face each other for the winner of the Diamond Ring. And that was the opening 30 minutes, which was really pretty entertaining.
One thing you missed, I don't know if you did, but one part, Hangman gets thrown out, but
yes, I did.
Circle. Oh, you did? Okay.
No, I mean I missed it. No, I missed it.
The Inner Circle, everybody in the Inner Circle catches him and pushes him back in. So almost like a Kofi Kingston like New Day thing, where they catch him, they throw him back in. So going back to the whole him joining in a circle, it's like, what's
Dark
gonna
Order.
happen? Or Dark Order. What's gonna happen? Did I say Inner Circle? I meant Dark Order. Dark Order caught him and threw him back in.
Yes, and I thought it was funny too because he was like, "No, that way, throw me that way." They catch him. He's like that way, and then as soon as they throw him in, they just like, I forget who it is that grabs him and chunks him over the rope the other way. So there was nobody there to catch him.
I
want to say it's Miro.
No, I think it was like Mark Quinn or no. You're right. I don't know. It was it might have been Sean Spears. Honestly, I think.
Yeah, and then Sean Spears got eliminated, and he got the loaded glove from Tully and punched Scorpio Sky, and then Miro just chunked him out of the ring. So yeah, I think it was entertaining. I mean, you had some fillers just for fillers, so you had like Luther and Joey Janela and that Lee Johnson guy that nobody cares about. But I think overall it was a good little opener. Keep everybody entertained. Then right after that, we come back with the Demo God with Ortiz and Hager because I don't know where Santana was, and they took on Jericho took on Frankie Kazarian of SCU. So it was hyped up as it's the first time they've ever met, and together they have like 50 years of experience. But the real story in this match is actually the inner circle the whole time. Um, Frankie Kazarian puts Jericho in the walls of Jericho. And while that's going on, MJF is coming out with the towel, teasing that he's going to throw it in to call the match. So then Sammy comes out and pulls the towel from MJF. Santana wanted to hit. Ortiz wanted to hit Kazarian in the back with the sock full of oranges or baseballs or whatever the hell they put in there now. And then Hager was like, "No, don't do it. Like he's gonna get disqualified." So it was the whole inner circle just having internal drama. So then Jericho says that next week they're gonna have the ultimatum. So they're gonna have 7 days to decide: are they gonna work together or are they gonna split up the inner circle? So that's where that story goes. Which of course we missed the week before. They had the trip to Vegas. The wonderful trip to Vegas. It was pretty much the Hangover, but with the inner circle.
Pretty much.
You had appearances from Conan, which was another important piece because Conan is one of the executive producers for Impact. That's what I heard, which we'll get into later on here. So that was kind of another shocking thing that he was there in the video, especially because he has ties with Santana and Ortiz when they were LAX and Impact before they came over. So that was another good surprise appearance. So they get high in the thing, and he's all, "Chris, I see a dragon," and Chris is like, "Dragons don't exist." Playing on the whole Luchasaurus isn't a real dinosaur. And then Chris is like, "Wait, I see a dragon," and it happens to be Puff the Magic Dragon. Then Jericho and MJF do the whole one-up each other as they're ordering their alcohol. So then they end up ordering moonshine. No, is it moonshine or Everclear? I think it's Everclear.
It was Everclear, yeah.
Yeah. They end up ordering Everclear, and they both have to drink the Everclear. So then they end up waking up the morning after. And actually, when they're getting more drunk, Sammy, I think, punches MJF at some point. Oh, no, he does a bunch of... He just tells him, "I hate you." And he's like, "No, you don't." He's like, "No, I really do. I really hate you." And then they both start laughing, and they have a good old time. And they're like, Elvis is part of the inner circle now because they run into an Elvis. Then the morning when MJF wakes up, it says Sammy was here and Sharpie on his face. And then Sammy wakes up and finds out that he got married 3 times. And he got giant paintings of each of his wives and him. And then instead of finding a baby like they do in The Hangover, they found Hornswoggle as the baby. And am I missing anybody else? I think doesn't Hager is missing a tooth or something?
Yeah, he's missing a tooth. On a side note, Hornswoggle is the phenomenal Hornswoggle in Impact right now.
Yeah, he's the phenomenal CJ Styles.
Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah.
So he's getting his money worked out there. That was hilarious. I laughed so hard when I saw it because I know they were teasing it, and I was like, "Well, what are they gonna do? It has to be something they don't have the ability to get AJ Styles." And that's when they're like, "Oh, it's Hornswoggle." I was like, makes sense.
There was one part where it's Jake Hager. He beats up one person, then Wardlow beats up another person. They just go back and forth, see how many guys they can beat up.
Oh yes. Now the funny behind the scenes is actually if you watch Sammy's vlog, it's great because they give a whole tour of the Penthouse, and then they actually show him going downtown when they were getting the paintings done. And then Sammy's like, "Look, I got married. This is my wife," and they're all carrying the 3 photos throughout the whole thing. Then I guess some girl stops him and he's like, "Would you want to be my 4th wife?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then it cuts away. from it, and then they like show the penthouse and everything. And then my favorite part is that Santana starts playing on the piano where they're making fun of the part of the Hangover where they're singing on the piano about Doug. And I'm trying to remember the song. There's a song that Santana starts playing on the piano, and everybody starts looking at him. And then Hager goes and Hager starts playing like hot cross buns or something, like some like super easy song, and everybody starts laughing because it's just great. Um, what's the damn song? I gotta find it now. I'm not gonna forget.
It's like he goes do 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 do.
Yeah, it was, but Santana, he played like some like dubstep song, I think, or some techno song, but it made me laugh, and he was he was there playing it.
Was
Yeah,
it
so that's
Drake?
another. No, it wasn't Drake. It was
Because at the end, Gary goes, "Who's Drake?"
let me see. It's I'm pulling it up real quick. Let's see. Oh, it's that Rhythm is a Dancing song. That's what he was playing. And then Hager comes in, he's on the dun 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 song. Yeah, but that's a great vlog if you want to see like the behind the scenes of their Vegas shenanigans. That was great. Um, I really do think maybe we're gonna end up just including it eventually because there's a lot of it that plays into the show now. Um, but yeah. So after the celebration, there, told you we were gonna just randomly go off course again.
Yeah. Right.
So then from there we have the Acclaimed interrupting the Young Bucks who were interviewing or getting interviewed by Marvez about them taking on the Hybrid 2. They had some great puns about how the Young Bucks look very homoerotic looking at each other in the cover, and that's why their book wasn't selling because they had to move it to the romantic comedy or the romantic novel section. And then
He says that looking at each other's junks in the picture.
yes, and that's always been like the
So,
running joke since the book came out.
so we don't know who the Claim are. They're just some group that came in. They were first shown at Dr. Baker's fucking waiting room segment, but we don't know who the hell they are. So we'll find out. They look like a rip off of Street Profits right now without the red solo cups, but we'll see.
Yeah, and that's why I love that part with the Young Bucks. Are like, don't we already? Isn't there already a tag team like this before?
Yeah, so we had this gimmick already.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot where they came from. I know they're supposedly were popular like in the indies and stuff. Um, I can't remember where that. But yeah, just going off the fact AEW wise, yeah, they're still new and growing, which is the one thing that everybody was saying. Like, it was good to see that the Young Bucks are willing to put over the new talent instead of just like working with the already established teams.
Yeah.
Because they were like, even with Hybrid 2, that Hybrid 2 is not like a new team. It does keep it fresh.
The Hybrid 2. So, yeah, fuck the Hybrid 2.
So then, yeah, so while they're talking trash, the Claim's talking trash to the Young Bucks, they're like, oh yeah, look out over there. And then the Hybrid 2 come and beat them up, and that ends the segment. With Mr. Alex, I gotta put him on TV because we paid him money already. Malvez.
Yeah.
I want to see more of the other dude. I forget his name.
I think his name is Alex too. Alex something.
Yeah, Alex something in Spanish.
So, go to more context. 2 weeks before, the Young Bucks fought Top Flight, which is Devon Dudley's sons.
Yes.
And the Young Bucks end up winning, and then Hybrid 2 comes out and attacks Top Flight. And then the Young Bucks kind of break it up, they run off. And then the following week, Hybrid 2 has a match with Top Flight. They end up winning, and then they have, I guess, beating them up after the match, and then that's when the Young Bucks came out for the save. So that's why they got, I guess, that's why they attacked them.
And as we get into later, just because I like to throw all these context clues that were given throughout the buildup of all of this here since the last pay per view. When the like you said, when Devon's kids were wrestling, I forgot their damn name. Um, they did like a video package, and in the video package, they said that they were inspired by the Motor City Machine Guns and the Young Bucks, which we all know that the Motor
That
City
makes
Machine Guns are currently in Impact, as we'll get into later. So, yeah, that was the best part about this whole thing. When we get to at the end, is that the seeds were planted throughout the whole since the pay per view. It's
yes,
just
and we didn't even know. We didn't even see it. Good job, AEW. Wow, you just made me
yes,
realize that.
yes.
Wow, that's storytelling at its finest, y'all.
So we're working our way to the December comes. We're getting to the two most important parts of this whole show. But first, some you know, AEW Dark Women's action. So the Doctor's in. Dr. Britt Baker takes on Taz, the female Taz, in legit Layla Hirsch. And this was
No,
a.
is she not a midget? I thought she was a midget.
I know that's what I said. I forgot who Donna said she was, and I was like, well, yeah, if she was shorter and
No,
and
she had like tiny little fucking legs. She's a stocky girl, but tiny little itty bitty like. I was like, yo, she looks like her body looked weird
mm-hmm.
because her legs are so fucking short. Like I couldn't tell from her kneecap to her thighs. Like that's how short she was. I was like, what the fuck? I'm not
Oh,
making
they
fun of
go
midgets or
Ronda
anything,
Rousey. Donna
but
was like, "Is that supposed to be AEW's version of Ronda Rousey?" I was like, "Well, if Ronda Rousey was short."
if Ronda Rousey had half her legs come off, yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty much a good like showing of grappling skills. A lot of submissions here, um, which goes underrated. That Britt Baker has her lockjaw there, and then of course Reba, not Rebel, um, tries to get in there as well, and then tries to distract the referee. So then Britt Baker wins with a twisting neck breaker into the lockjaw, while Reba is distracting Rick Knox. So then the match is over, and then she goes. She keeps going with the lockjaw there, and then of course who shows up? Nobody else but Thunder Rosa. She comes in and starts attacking Britt Baker, and then the officials have to separate them. This was really funny when I was watching it live because my stupid AT&T Now was delaying the audio, so the audio was behind. So it was great when you would hear like it's Thunder Rosa. And then like Britt Baker still has Layla in the lockjaw, so it was pretty funny watching that whole segment. Um, but good build up. I do want to see Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker happen. So I am very excited for that match. But now, time for the first surprise of the night. We have the TNT Championship, Darby Allin, and of course the Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, accompanied by Arn, take on the Absolute Iron Man, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs with Taz. A little more backstory to this match, why it means a little bit more, is the week before, Taz had Brian Cage, no, Hobbs, job or destroy a jobber real quick. Then after the match, Taz is like, I want somebody to come out and somebody from management and make this title mean something and make it an official title. And nobody came out, so they cut his mic while he was talking. So then he grabbed Justin Roberts' mic and started talking through there, so they cut it off again. Then, of course, awkwardly, Cody comes out with his headset on, like if he was actually sitting back there the whole time. So then he tells Taz, like, I'll run it up the flagpole and see what they think about the championship. And I don't remember what he says after that, but he finishes it with, if you're such a badass, then why is your son training with me instead of training with you? So then Taz is about to leave the ring, so Cody turns his back on Taz, and then Taz puts him in the
The
Taz mission.
weakest looking tap mission. I was like, really, Cody? You can't break out of that? That shit
Well,
looks so weak.
Taz has a lot to work with there, so he can't just put him as tight as he used to anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah,
A little bit more backstory. I called it. I fucking called it. I said Will Hobbs is gonna turn on them, and he did that 2 weeks ago. when he smashed Cody's face with the title. I called it.
Yes. Well, I mean, he did almost smash Darby Allin's arm in the pay per view when he was
That's
chasing
true.
off everybody in the car. So,
That is true too.
and it would make sense because I mean, what babyface walks around with a chair every time he's trying to make a save,
That's true.
especially when you're supposed to be the big powerhouse. Um, but yes, so and yeah, he's with Team Taz now. So the match happens here, and Darby gets the win with the coffin drop on. I forget who he gets it on. Is it Ricky?
He gets it on.
Ricky, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky.
So he coffin drops on Ricky, getting the
Because
pin.
Hobbs was beating up Cody.
Yes. So then Hobbs gets mad. They come in. They beat up Darby Allin. And then Arn Anderson steps in because, like 3 days ago, he put out an article saying, or he did an interview saying he has about 2 spine busters left. So I thought he was going to use them both up there. And that was going to be the end of it. But Ricky ends up or Taz and Hobbs holds him so Ricky can hit him. So then comes Dustin Rhodes. So then he comes up and tries to fend off everybody there, but they start beating him up, and then Brian Cage comes down, and then right when you think the rest of the American Nightmare family is going to make the save, we pitch to Dark.
Oh, hold on. So they do have him up, and they're about to hit Cody with the belt again. I think it's Taz or Will Hobbs, and Brian Cage has Cody. They're holding him, and then Hobbs has the belt and about to hit him, and then the light turns dark.
Light turns dark. There's a nice, beautiful, majestic, snowy mountaintop. Birds are flying. So my original thought, as much as it's not going to happen, I'm thinking the villain has come to AEW. But no, I was wrong. The vigilante known as Sting makes his way.
Holy shit!
Yes, I don't know if I popped harder for this or popped harder during Survivor Series when he first came out. I'm probably gonna say Survivor Series just because it was more of a he may show up. This was because it was kind of given, and it just kind of, at least for me, I mean, it makes sense because he's saving the day, but I don't really see what he has to do with this feud other than Darby. So I loved it though. I'm not gonna lie, it was great. Tony there screaming 18 years since he's been on TNT.
Well, you have to discuss the weird part where he goes out and he just stares at Dustin Reynolds. He kneels down, or he hits Arn Anderson's face, which that makes sense. And he stares him down. That makes sense because they have a few of the 4 horsemen. Then he stares at Dustin Reynolds. Like, why are you looking at it? Why are you pissed at him for? Then he kneels down and just stares at Cody like he's a bad child. Is in timeout or something? And then he's just like looking at him like, "What are you?" Like type of look. Like he's just moving his head, and it's like, "What the fuck are you looking at him for?" And then
I'm not gonna lie.
Darby.
I thought he was gonna kiss Darby.
He looks at him like you're my son.
He's like, this ain't my kid.
Yeah, like he looks all close. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing. And then he walks away.
I mean, I guess if you want to put some random context, except for Cody, he doesn't. Well, Cody fits because he's, Dusty's son or whatever. I mean, I don't know if Dustin ever fought him in WCW. I know he was whatever Slevin or whatever the hell he was, that weird version of Goldust. And then I know he was Dustin Rhodes for a while, but I don't think they ever feuded where it actually mattered that they were big names. So that would be a match I'd be willing to see.
No. Dustin's he's gonna need a young guy to carry him around.
Well, yeah, I don't want to see him do a Canadian Destroyer on Sting, but maybe like a tag team together. Maybe have like a trios match, the Painted Clowns versus somebody there. But yeah,
I would say this though, because when Sting came out, it was fucking snowing, and it wasn't like that like fake snow where like all the white shit just stays and it's like fake snow. This shit was actually melting, so I was like, good for them for getting real snow out there.
Yes.
visual, I would say that the visual from the video and visual seeing Sting come out in the snow, that was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty fucking awesome.
And then right off the bat, I was joking with Donna because I was like, "Damn, they're like quick to put out the shirt." She's like, "Well, yeah, no, duh, Sherlock. They obviously knew he was coming out." I was like, "Why no? But they could have at least kind of like waited till like after the show or maybe after a segment and be like, oh yeah, like we're printing out the shirts. 1 hour T, they got the shirt done." But they were just like, as soon as the segment was over, they were like, "Okay, well, we gotta let you know he signed a multi-year deal." And then I think they had gone like a recap, and then they're like, "Okay, so next week he's gonna speak. Tony, do you want to do the thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then they're like, "Okay, the shirt's out now." Like 2 seconds after he had just like faded to black, and I was like, "Really?"
I will say that they did say that he was the fastest selling. He sold the most T-shirts in 24-hour time period
Yes,
on ProT-shirts.com.
yes, and I love how like it's literally like one of the old designs, and they just put the AEW logo on top, and they're like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
But yes, Sting is now AEW. Um, I don't know where really they put him in. Like maybe as a mentor for Darby.
They said that there was gonna be like an authority figure this coming year, so I think that's what he may play. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. They said that he might actually wrestle too, which
Yeah, well they said
I
he
don't
just
know.
had the same surgery as Edge.
As much as I want to see it, I don't know. I don't know.
But I'm just like, who can you put him up? I don't want to see Sammy again and waste Sammy on another like Sting feud. But then you're thinking it has to be probably somebody in this whole group of people. Like that's why they specifically put him in there, unless Cody just wanted to be attached to um the fact that Sting returned during his match. So that's where it's kind of like, but then like you said, if with the Four Horsemen beef they had, does that mean he now goes
I
against
think if
them?
anything, he might feud with Ricky Starks. I hope they don't put him in with Will Hobbs because that's a nightmare waiting to happen. Brian Cage, maybe. I I don't know. I don't know.
John Silver.
John Silver.
Picture the headlines now. AEW or TNT Championship match between Sting and Orange Cassidy. One of the worst ideas ever, but it's gonna happen. I guarantee it. What if maybe he? Well, I mean that's kind of wouldn't fit. But what if maybe he puts Hangman Page on a sober road? Because you know how he had an addiction and he became sober. And maybe we can run with that.
I think it's gonna have to do something with Nightmare Family. What it is, I don't know. I honestly have no idea what their plan is. But it's gonna have to do with Cody and the Nightmare Family. I don't know.
Yes. Because they couldn't get Shaq.
They're gonna get Shaq. Oh, he just has to deal with Shaq too.
I think they're gonna wait for Shaq probably when it gets closer to like the season of that show.
Yep.
Because he has a show on TNT, and I really think that's what it's gonna be to cross over and show him like training and stuff. And they'll probably save it for the pay-per-view if they're smart.
Yeah, I agree.
So, right when that's happening, and you don't think anything more exciting can happen, you realize we still have a pay-per-view caliber main event for the AEW Championship. You have Mr. PWI's top 500 of X amount of years, because I can't remember what year he won. Kenny Omega taking on one father-to-be Jon Moxley.
So
very.
You do when the match started or when they were doing everything, there was still 35 minutes left. I was like, this is gonna be a good match. It was like 8:25 when the match was when the entrances were coming out.
Yes, and then they already had announced earlier that day, or I guess the day before, that they had the okay from TNT that if they were to accidentally go over the 10 o'clock time slot, they weren't just going to cut them off. So that already was like, this is going to be good and it's going to be long. Because they're already like trying to get the okay to let them go over time. I was like, something's going to happen. which I'll get into that. Why I think um, Kingston just randomly started yelling crap at the end of the episode. I think it's because of that time that they had. Um, but before we get into that, before the interests occur, they mentioned that Don Callis is on ringside. Don Callis was also at Full Gear. They're commentating the match for Hangman and Kenny, which now, looking back after this match, opened the door and planted the seeds that we did not know was being planted. Well, we kind of figured, but not the way that the tree grew. So, he's there on the team, which kind of didn't make sense to me anyway before this, because like you never really heard about him like in New Japan or anything, because it wasn't part of the storyline, of course. But other than the fact that he got Jericho and Omega to happen in New Japan, so it kind of was one of those like, okay, cool, but I really didn't think Don Callis had much to do with it. But the match, what a match! What can we say there? Um, starting off early with the speed of Kenny Omega versus the power of Moxley. There's a couple of clotheslines that Moxley countered Omega running at him. You have the back and forth chest, the elbow strikes. There's pretty much any point in this match you can pick. Of course, my favorite part was when about the middle of the match there, when Moxley goes and grabs the chairs, and everybody's expecting him to like start beating up Omega with the chairs, and instead he sets him up in the middle of the ring, and he sits down and tells Kenny to get up and sit in the chair. So then they start going into a slap fest and a punch fest. I think that was one of my favorite spots.
They were like punching for real too.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't holding back.
Yeah, and then Kenny's starting to putting in the V triggers slowly throughout the match. He's piling them on. And then right before this, they go outside, and then Kenny runs into the heaters that were conveniently placed on the side of the ring there. So the doctors come and check on him. Don Callis leaves commentary and goes and checks on Kenny as well. And then Moxley's like, screw this. So he tries to go get Kenny from the floor, and Don Callis gets on ringside and tells the ref, like, you need to stop this because Kenny's hurt, while having a microphone in his hand, which is very convenient, even though he's not talking into it.
He did speak into it. He was like, hey, stop the match. He's hurt. He did speak into it, yeah.
So then John Moxley goes and punches Don Callis, and
hold on, wait. Did you notice that there were rose petals everywhere after he got punched?
Yes.
Where did rose petals come from?
They were in his jacket, in his front pocket.
Oh my god.
But I think that was to help, like, one, show the punch, but that was to help distract as well, because like the camera focused on the flowers coming out. So the microphone magically disappears, and then one of the worst editing jobs that they did, you can see where the referee actually hands Moxley a blade before he gets up and turns, and Omega hits him with the microphone. So I was like, damn, you can't even do this match without any blood. But Moxley decides to blade for a microphone, out of all things. So Kenny hits him with the microphone, and Moxley starts. Yeah. Then he button mashes the V trigger, and
V trigger in him.
Yeah, it goes V trigger happy, and then sets him up for the one winged angel. Gets the 1, 2, 3, making the third and new AEW World Champion Kenny Omega.
The cleaner. I'm so glad they fucking pulled the trigger. So glad. You know what? It makes it so much better that I'm not even mad at MJF didn't win the fucking title anymore. Not even mad.
And that makes sense now with everything that happens right after this. So Kenny wins, and before he can even breathe or think about celebrating, Don Callis is running into the ring. He jerks the belt from the referee while Justin Roberts is taking his long-ass time announcing the winner. So then Don picks up Kenny, and then they start heading to the back.
But you know why, right? You know why he took forever? Because he got his microphone taken from him.
That's right. Um, so then they walk out through the tunnel, and then Tony Khan's there, like, what the hell just happened? But you can't really hear what Tony Khan's saying, so it doesn't really make any sense. He's just a nerd. I thought he was like, at first I thought he was like, "Yay, Kenny, you won!" Like cheering like a little mark. And it wasn't until they got to the part where they show like all the wrestlers, they're like booing Kenny while he's leaving, that I actually like it clicked in my head like, oh yeah, they're actually booing him. They're not like cheering him. So then they're working their way to the back. Of course, Don Callis is the executive vice president of Impact. So as they're working their way to the back, I was assuming that, there'd be some Impact people in the back, but they work their way all the way out, and they walk really far before anybody can get a hold of them. They make it almost to the SUV to leave before Alex, I got to get paid, or you got to put me on TV because you already paid me. Malvez goes and asks him, what happened? What's all this about? And Don says, you want to know what happens? Tune in on Tuesday, and we'll tell you. And then everybody has made a perfect interpretation of Malvez, and they're like, but we don't Impact is on Wednesday, or Dynamite's on Wednesdays. He's like, yeah, not Dynamite, on Impact, Access TV on Tuesday. And then they peel out of the car, meaning that now Kenny, the cleaner, the champion, is on his way to Impact Wrestling with the AEW Championship to start the official turf war between Impact and AEW. What a wonderful day in wrestling.
Do you think they'll do blood and guts like that now?
Maybe. That might be like where they end up finishing it off. But then you're like, who do they get and who doesn't turn on who? That's the question. But if we're doing a working relationship, can we do Cody and the Good Brothers? That's what I want to see. Against the Elite.
I always think the Good Brothers would side with Kenny. Bullet Club, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like,
well, because they left right when. Oh, I mean, they were there for like the first like 1 or 2 months of the cleaner, like when he took over. Yeah. But then they left when AJ left.
No.
Yeah, weren't they? Because them and AJ signed at the same time. And Shinsuke,
right.
The four left at the same time. But I mean, I know they would
attack AJ.
I was gonna say, but I think because I don't think Cody came until after. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Cody came after. Cody definitely came way after.
Yeah. So okay, maybe that wouldn't work. But I mean, it would still make a good heel team if you want to turn Cody heel, and then have them take on Sting and whoever Sting's want to be tag team. So, but I mean, it does open up some doors. I was watching an article that it was like the 10 matches that need to happen between Impact and AEW, and they were like Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR because they haven't fought yet. And then they were talking about the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks. And they were like, well, you have to do champion versus champion. So they were like Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann, which I was like, if anything, that would elevate Rich Swann. But I hope Access TV has enough power to broadcast the whole episode. And they don't crash.
Yeah.
But of course, now here's my prediction for Impact, though. What if he comes and says the only reason I joined or I came over here on Impact is because the Forbidden Door isn't closed, and then like Ibushi comes out? That is what I'm predicting. And there goes Mike, right on time. And Mike is gone. We were so close. So close. But while we're waiting for Mike to come back on, yeah, that's my prediction. I'm calling that they're gonna open up New Japan's partnership with Impact and AEW by having Ibushi come out and helping them. But yeah, winters come, and times are changing. 2021 is going to be amazing. We have Tony Khan announcing the trios title. Should be here in early 2021. So we're looking somewhere between Revolution's normally like February. So we're looking at like sometime in January to February when he's going to announce those. Which, if you're going to have all those wrestlers in there, that's going to be super ridiculously crazy. So that's going to be fun on seeing that there. But we're just waiting on Mike here so we can get our final thoughts and wrap up the show. But make sure you share with your friends and everybody and let them know AEW Chino Cholo Podcast. Um, let's get this growing, get the community going. And here comes Mike. All right, let's see. Okay.
Time to all the fuck out.
Anyway, we're almost done, so we're good. But I was saying before you got cut off that I think they're gonna announce that Kenny switched because the door is open over here, the Forbidden Door, and I think they're gonna announce like Ibushi coming out and that New Japan is now like working with all three or for both of them. And that's my prediction. Oh,
You can usually understand how it's going to play, what direction it's going, but you have no idea how.
yeah, you're in and out.
I'm lost again. I said it out. Am I there yet?
Okay, you're good now.
I was just saying that I haven't been this excited for a wrestling show in a while because I don't know how it's going to go. I honestly don't. It's exciting.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, but I really think they're gonna bring New Japan in on Tuesday. That's how like they're gonna tie it in. Like that's why he betrayed AEW because he wanted to work with New Japan, and then they'll bring like Ibushi out and be like, they can work with the Forbidden Door. Tony couldn't get it done, but Don can, and that'll be like the whole thing.
I want to watch Access TV now.
I'm gonna get the Pop channel. I'm gonna open a Twitch channel now just so I can watch it. But can you imagine at like Revolution or maybe but they'll probably wait till Full Gear next year. But him and Hangman beating him like in a packed arena after all the heel chaos he's gonna cause.
I don't know.
But I'm very excited for the future here. I know everybody was kind of like it's kind of bleh, but I think 2021 will be a memorable year in wrestling.
Yeah, way to go, fucking AEW. Way to fucking go.
Yes, and then imagine if WWE releases like more wrestlers like idiots, like how big the roster may open up.
Yeah. But I don't think AEW is going to sign them, though. Just because, you know what I mean?
No, but if like Impact signs them, then they have new toys to play with that's not under their salary cap. And I think that's what's going to happen. Like, they're going to take turns, like, getting like one of the big stars, but at the end it won't matter because they're all going to intercross and intertwine, so it doesn't matter who pays who.
Yeah.
So, we shall see. But that's all right. We're excited. It's great. But we're going to wrap up the episode here, and we will see you guys next week for another chaotic episode. And we'll have a lot to talk about because we'll have 2 shows, BTE now. I mean, we're not going to talk about all of Impact, but obviously we'll have to talk about that segment.
On a quick note, Peter Avalon is on a 2-win streak.
Yes.
He's streaking, baby. He's streaking.
And Frego the Soul is still on a losing streak. He can't do the Tornado DDT.
Tornado DDT.
But also, you can get their cameo for $995.
Yep.
So there's
Sure.
that. There's that. But we will see you guys next week. We promise, because this is getting good, so we can't miss no more. So with that being said, I'm G the Chino,
I'm Mike the Cholo.
and we will see you guys next time.